If you're struggling to really narrow down on your niche, you're not alone, my friend. Meet Louise Valentine, a physiologist, best-selling author, avid runner, and military spouse. She was named #1 health specialist in the US, has worked with the NFL, and has built a thriving online business. Louise is the founder of Breaking Through Wellness, where she runs the groundbreaking Badass Breakthrough Women's Health and Running Academy and provides one-on-one holistic health, fitness, mindset, and performance coaching. We talk about how she pivoted in her business and found her niche, built her online business, and so much more. Louise has a really inspiring story to share, and I can't wait for you to meet her, so let's dive in. Hey there, welcome to the Blissful Biz podcast. I'm your host, Susanne Reiche, here to help yoga and wellness entrepreneurs build a thriving online business. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and earn money online, you are in the right place. Each week you learn about websites, digital products, social media strategies, and what's working now to build your online business. And now let's get started. Hey Louise, welcome to the Blissful Biz podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited about your story. So can we just start right away by you telling us a little bit more about what you do, your background, what brought you to where you are right now?
Yes. So I studied health and fitness and nutrition in my earlier years in college. I was inspired in my youth, just, hearing this story from my doctors that I had this, genetic history that was destined for chronic disease. I was struggling with my performance as a runner, a volleyball player, and I was just kind of done with it. Even in the 6th grade, I was like, I need to know how to help myself because I don't want to end up sick, injured, not a good athlete. So I started studying it at a young age, and I was fortunate enough to work with the NFL here in the US.
Oh, that's huge, right?
Yeah. So that was in my early 20s, and I had a really great dream career, but I fell in love with the US soldier, and life took a dramatic shift. I did put my career with the NFL on the back burner to move all throughout the US with him. So needless to say, I have worked across the spectrum of health and wellness since then.
And was that like the main motivation for you to move online? So how did that happen? So I'm guessing when you started, it was all like in person, right?
Absolutely. Yes. My business was well established in Cleveland, Ohio. I was networking with hospital systems, with pro athletes that came into town across the spectrum of pro baseball, pro dancers. It was really a great little, brick and mortar standing business. But I just kept relocating with my husband. It was 9 times in 12 years we moved.
Wow.
So I knew I was very career driven, and I just kept studying different things in health and fitness. And even so much that I studied to get into med school, but because we were moving so much, I couldn't even attend, even though I got in, because my husband was moving. So I had to keep making these big life decisions to stay together with him, raise a family, or find alternative solutions. So first thing was getting an online master's degree, being established long enough to apply it in a research fellowship. But yes, it was just one move after another. So I had to get creative and innovative in figuring out a way that I could take my mission, which is to empower others with simple science-based information to achieve their health and fitness goals. But I can't always do it in person. So I had to really kind of think about what was I going to do here?
And was that before the pandemic, or did you also get that Corona push to move online?
Yeah. So I was actually in a healthcare technology leadership position. I had published some research, and I was in just like a corporate type environment, but I was becoming burnt out. I was like nonstop innovating for another individual's company. And at the end of the day, struggling in my own health and seeing how simple solutions were solving my own problems in chronic disease and athletic performance. And I wanted to be able to work more in that zone of genius, in my passion, and not burn out in the process. So that is why I chose to leave a corporate position and go into both in-person and online hybrid business model.
What exactly are you offering now? So what's like your field of expertise?
Yeah, so I do integrative coaching. I will take an individual's health or fitness or performance goal, often working with busy dads, busy moms who are balancing career, health, fitness. They often are runners, recreational runners, but they're serious about their goals. Maybe they're hitting some frustrating plateaus. They don't really know what's the best way to break through these obstacles that keep popping up, and they're frustrated, they're tired, they're overwhelmed.
Yeah. Oh, I love it that you're so clear about that. And it really sounds like you want to work with people who, like not beginners who've never run before, but really with people who are feeling like stuck at a certain level. So, and
Absolutely.
they want to up level and really, like have that like bigger transformation, really get better results in their life. So what Mariah always says, the champagne clients.
Yes, very much so. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is hard to figure out like the messaging and figuring out what little niche of the planet do you want to contribute to. And so I did for a while. I started really broad. I went with recreational athletes. So I was working with, senior leaders who were triathletes. I was working with military. I was working with, a woman who wanted to prevent cancer and general health and fitness goals. And what I found is, although I launched successfully in my program, I had an online group coaching program. When I went to market it broadly, to general America through Facebook ads, through talking to people, I was stumbling over my own words because it wasn't specific enough. And it wasn't sustainable, unfortunately. So I had to do a lot of like reinventing, but I'm in that like niche of a women's health and running academy now. So that's my full program where I have all sorts of resources and one-on-one coaching. And then I do have individual coaching sessions. And so that's where I can still serve the men and general, moms who want to just work on their health and fitness. But I do have a very specific program for women runners.
Okay. Oh, that's actually brings up like a discussion that I just read in a Facebook group about, should we still communicate like niche down to like woman or man, or is that actually excluding people like binary people? Is this still something that makes sense? That like if you want to have an all-inclusive language, like really consciously choose to be, or but I'm like I'm have mixed feelings about it as well. So at the moment I only have women in my programs. But I don't think I exclude. I don't really address it as only for women. Is this something that you really write out on your website, or?
So that's where I was struggling, because I have worked in the NFL. I've worked on the cutting edge of sports science for men. But there is a gap in empowering women with the right information for their body's health. And we're coming from a background where sports science and fitness literature studies men. And so the science that floats to the surface for females right now, we're addressing perimenopausal health, pelvic floor pain during pregnancy, restoring your health after birth, remaining empowered through a fit pregnancy. And so if I have a sales page where I'm talking through these things, if a male comes to the page, that's not necessarily going to resonate with him. And I felt like it was really getting lost. And the more I worked with women, the more I realized that there's so much misinformation out here. And it really can be simple, but I don't want women struggling with bone health. And
Yeah.
I've struggled with my own health as a female, and working in health sciences. There's just a gap right now. So I try to release that guilt and know that I'm fulfilling a very specific purpose.
Yeah, I think my point wasn't about that it's wrong to create specific programs. It was more like, do we have to exclude people in the way we are communicating already? Or this is like, it's like when you read through the sales page, you probably realize pretty early on that this is mainly targeting women without having to spell out this is for women in the header or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't have like the solution either, but I just thought it was an interesting discussion. So that's why it came up. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And I think
but it sounds amazing. It sounds like a really great program. So how long have you been running it?
So I've been working with women runners for years, but this specific program I launched last year, about a year ago. And it was, like I said, it was broader. So I was coaching women runners. I also had just general health and fitness goals, as well as male triathletes and some soldiers and military personnel in the academy. I continued to do one-on-one coaching and was really just more in my local community, seeing this need for women runners. And the more I worked with a specific group, the more I was able to develop very specific, clear, concise resources that, someone can have one session with me and it changes their life in a way. They have so much energy and they're feeling better than ever. And so I took those resources and developed and repackaged it into a one-on-one program. So it's no longer group coaching, and it's specific to that everyday woman runner who wants to improve their health and running performance. So that is still fairly new, packaging it that way within just the past 3 or 4 months, but it is going really well. So I'm finally feeling some relief in the business.
That's amazing. How many people do you have in the program?
So I have about 10 right now. And then I do have some individuals who kind of do the one-on-one coaching as well. So just kind of figuring out where that sweet spot is between just individual coaching sessions and am I comfortable enough going just to this program? We'll kind of see how it goes based on my everyday life demands too.
Do they get individual sessions as well in the program, in the group program, or what's included there?
Yeah, so I don't have a group coaching anymore.
Okay.
And that was one thing that I think was a mistake in the beginning of my launch here in online business, is thinking about what means the most to me as a practitioner. And the thing that frustrates me in my own health is when someone doesn't have the time to sit down and hear my whole health history and all the details and design something specific and targeted. And I found in the group coaching that I felt like results were being left on the table. And so I know there's a really good way to frame group coaching programs, but for me and my specific, it's physiology, it's nutrition, it's so hyper focused on the individual and their own unique physiology that it was very hard to deliver the type of results that I wanted to in a group coach setting.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. So it's the same for me. I so enjoy working with a smaller group of students in a deeper way, really dive into their business, know everything that they're doing, their goals, instead of just setting an online course and then never hearing again from 90% of the people. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it was a little bit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, I think with what you do, it makes even more sense.
Yeah.
That people need that one-on-one and they need to be heard.
Yeah. And one person's injury past, if you're developing a strength training program so they don't get injured while running, their injury is the same as another. And it's specific exercises that they need to prevent that injury. So it's very challenging to do that in group coaching.
How did you get started? Where did you find your first students?
I
or
went
clients?
to, yeah, so I was a part of like local running groups. I went back to old client lists from different like brick and mortar business that I had had. I reached out to friends through email, social media. So, and even just different groups, networking groups I was a part of, whether it's an alumni association or a group of female entrepreneurs.
I
There's a
love that.
lot of
Yeah.
people. There's a
No,
lot of people when you really stop to think about it.
yeah, but it's just like that personal reaching out, right? So a lot of people think I just put up my website and then people will find me,
Mm,
and
yeah.
then they're setting themselves up for disappointment in a way, which is so sad, or stop right away because this is not working.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just a lot of trial and error that you have to learn to develop decent websites and services. It's going to change for a little while in the beginning.
Is there something you wish you would have known or done differently when you just started out?
I wish I would have known how challenging the online space really was in terms of marketing, breaking through, setting myself apart. Um, there are a lot of people that claim to be experts, and in even though I do have like awards where I was chosen as the number one health specialist in the US, that doesn't really mean a lot to a lot of people. And you're like, but it's a master's level certification. And, I've done this X, Y, and Z. And that doesn't exactly resonate. Like in corporate life, that might be like, ooh, okay, I'm going to listen to her. But in online space, it's very different. Like people are dancing in front of the camera, and that's going to catch somebody's eye versus the expert who's like, hey, this is actually going to change the course of your results. But let's look at the dancing person because it's flashy when you're scrolling.
I think we've all like been like I was like if you talk about Instagram and Reels, I was just like when I saw the first Reels with those marketing people just pointing, and then you have like little sentinels flying in, and I was like, where's the value in that? What is this supposed to teach me? I don't want to do that, and I'm not doing Reels. And I
Yeah.
mean, now I found a way that actually works really well for me, just like doing 90 seconds videos where so I don't have to dance doing funny things because that's just not me. I really don't enjoy doing that. I did a few reels with just like funny with noises, voiceovers. But right now I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I just
Yeah.
want to just like share like this videos. Yes. Okay. You have to show videos. I mean, if you want to be seen, if you want to have visibility on Instagram, which is a free tool, you have to do reels right now. You have to do video content. There's just no way around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
of course, that's always that balance. Of course, you have your expertise, and then you have to work on your visibility, on getting seen, on being discovered by new people, on reaching new people. And that's also like a completely different um, expertise you need to build. Obviously, and also like a different mindset, of course. So,
yeah.
is this something you've been struggling with, or do you have any tips there for people who are maybe just getting started? Or do you manage that?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend not going too broad. Like I guess not really trying to find things that both are going to reach your target audience but you enjoy. Because I did a YouTube, I have a blog that I've had for years. I was doing a Facebook page, my personal Facebook and Instagram. And while I could take one piece of content and repurpose it, it was still a lot. And what I was doing is I wasn't successful at anything. I was doing an okay job at everything, and that did not result in clients at all. So I would recommend finding just one or two things that you really enjoy, and you're also going to reach your target audience, and it'll be a perfect little mixture to start
Mm.
without burning out.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, I did that mistake when I started out. I created way too many different offers before I actually sat down and then really figured out how to sell them. Well, like with my first online course, after I didn't really get like the super crazy results I was hoping for, I just like, okay, I have to create another thing and
Yes,
another thing. Yeah.
I did the same thing. I created a 5K training program when honestly I work with a lot of like ultra runners and marathon runners who, oh, by the way, hate 5K training. So here I was thinking like, oh, this is a great little, I'm going to teach you how to design your own training plan. You're going to get some great strategies. This is great for marathon trainers, people who are training for marathons who need to break from it. But guess what? They don't want to take a break from it. They love running far. They hate running short and fast. And here, like, it was not going to lead to people looking for their marathon and ultra running coaching. It was not. And I created the whole thing, sales page, the whole program, recorded it, put it into Kajabi, and oh wait, I literally sold 0.
Oh,
yeah. I ran a couple ads, but again, I was trying to do so many things. I didn't do anything well. I didn't take enough time to market it, to do videos on it. I just had like a couple blog articles that feed into it and posted a couple things and ran some ads. And at the end of the day, I was trying to do way too much.
Yeah, I think that's very, very common. So that's a great tip. So thanks for sharing that and sharing
honesty,
your
like I sold
experience. Yeah. I mean, I tell my students as well, like, do you just start with one platform and focus on that? And then you can grow from there. Don't try to really grow YouTube and Pinterest and Instagram and everything at the same time. And I'm also always telling my students to be really mindful of how much time they spend on growing social media, because it's definitely helpful and it's great that we have those tools. But I think that the majority of your time should be spent on either creating paid offers, and then you should also like create content that you host on your own platform, like a blog or a YouTube channel where you also embed the videos in a blog post. So your website should be like the hub where you have your best content, and then you repurpose to all those other platforms. Yeah. And of course, then when you grow and you have like a team, and then you can also spend more time on Instagram and on Reels and other things. And also, like, when you're just getting started, of course, you just start maybe posting on Instagram. But as soon as you've set up your website, I feel you should also start a blog.
Yes,
absolutely. I've just seen it work in my business so well that I still get traffic, like hundreds of visitors every single day for blog posts that I published in 2017 or 2018. And nobody's looking at an Instagram caption from that time.
Exactly. Yes. And I that is a lesson that I learned, where it's great to maybe get, hundreds of views on your Instagram story. But if you have a video there on Instagram, guess what? They watch it and then that's it. But if it's a link to my blog post, and I might only get 30 people that look at it, but guess what? 25 of those people went there for that purpose, signed up for my email list, and now I can talk to them every single week through a newsletter.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to put ego aside and take away the numbers. And even my Instagram, like right now I have like 2,000 people, but the story views are consistent. It's the same people. And so I feel like I'm giving and informing the right people. And while I might not have 20K following, I'm reaching and impacting consistently.
Yeah, that's such a great point. It's never about the quantity of your followers. So you could have like a really huge account because you post like beautiful pictures of you running in tiny shots. But those people following you, they might love that for motivation and inspiration, but they might not be your ideal clients, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so also too, if, with a niche, with an offer, you should be disrupting in a way, right? It should be something that's different, that's going to stand out. And I think with that, again, putting ego aside, you're going to have people that is not going to resonate with, because that's not what they're used to hearing. And it makes them a little uncomfortable to hear that they might need to do things differently. And so I try to also use that lens and have that mindset that, again, ego aside, I'm going to say some things that some people are going to hit unfollow maybe, but I think that's tough love in some ways of targeted niches.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you doing right now? What's your content strategy to attract clients? Share it with us.
Yes. So I have a blog. So I do, I did shift from doing a lot of like long form articles to video content. I do a little bit of both, but as a busy mom, I really found that like making beautiful blog posts and the formatting, and it was really taking up a lot of time. So I shifted to some video content. I do have a newsletter that's biweekly. So I try to stay consistent with that. So I'm not like bombarding email offers. So those who are a part of my email list can feel both some value, and they're going to hear about my offers too. So it's in a hybrid biweekly newsletter. I am doing some Instagram posts. So I have that daily, as well as LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a lot of just reposting of the blog. I tend to keep that just a little bit more professional, and we'll do some more of the edgier stuff on Instagram.
Okay. And how much time do you spend on Instagram and for blogging and videos? Do you an overview like on average?
So the blog is either weekly or bi-weekly, and a lot of times it's reposting a video that I might have used in my academy. So I'm like creating content within the program for women runners, as well as using maybe like a little snippet of it for my blog or social media. Sometimes my social media is repurposed. So I am spending time daily on some sort of content strategy. Ideally, I wouldn't want to be, but right now, because I am really in that growth phase and my purpose is to acquire more clients, I do want to spend some time on that. And it's not too overwhelming to do that daily in the mornings, maybe like an hour or two.
Do you have like a VA or someone who supports you, or do you still run everything yourself?
I still do everything myself.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And just given certain like recent circumstances financially, it is I do think it is a bottleneck for me, to be honest. Had I had a little bit of social media management, some content writing for me, some of that copywriting, I think I would have really been able to have a little bit more growth. But you got to balance the husband's finances. Like, what are we investing in the business versus making? And so, yeah, there's a balance there.
I mean, yeah, of course, you're not working full time in your business, right? And so you just do it step by step. It's so easy to think, oh my God, I'm just like failing and not where I am supposed to be because I don't have like 5 people on my team or something. And that's ridiculous, right? I have a VA, but only like between like 5 and 10 hours per week. But she does like the majority of when I have a new podcast episode of publishing that, creating the show notes, creating the blog post. So it already, like that's really time that I save.
Yes.
And like Facebook group management and things like that. So it's really, really helpful. And the podcast editor, I have that as well. Yeah.
That's
wonderful.
wonderful.
It's like tiny things that you start with to get support. So you don't have to outsource everything, and like my calendar or my email inbox, I'm happy to manage that. I still do my social media captions. Yeah. But it took me a while to get there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And, a lot of my marketing is a hybrid now of in person, just because I am finding with my specific audience, virtual they're a bit burned out, because runners love community. They love racing together. And now that we're a little bit free, like some of the gates have been opened with doing more post pandemic here, they love the sense of community and being out in the world. So I'm in my local community too, giving some talks to women runners. And I'll tell you what, I get more clients from that than I do from social media right now. But again, I think it's knowing your specific audience needs. And if you are completely virtual, maybe it's showing up at a conference where individuals are coming together and you can contribute.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great tip as well, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that you really are so clear on your niche and your offer. And of course, it took time to get there, right? So, and you just like learn it by doing the things. Like, what's the saying? Clarity comes from taking action, right? So you can't really work on your strategy for 6 months and then you have everything perfectly figured out before you get started. You just need to get started.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was thinking, I almost want to write to my email list and be like, dear email list, I'm so sorry for all of the confusion in the past year as I figured out who I'm speaking to. Like, you probably think I'm crazy. As I was
nobody
talking.
really noticed. Nobody really thinks about that. What are your goals? What's your dream like? Where do you want to be in, I don't know, 2 years?
I do. I just want a hybrid business where I am serving both those virtually and in person. So I love providing massage therapy here locally in the community. And the way that my program is, I can both be in person, personal training individuals, and in a Zoom call with them talking about their nutrition. So I really hope to grow this into a business model that stands the test of time as we continue to move. So when we move back home to Ohio from Delaware here in the States, I can, yes, rebuild some massage clients, but I still have an online, footprint where I can virtually coach too. And I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I moved to a new place and I'm starting at client zero.
That's such a great point. Yeah. And I think it's amazing that we have that opportunity that just like 5 years ago, it was so much more difficult to build an online business. And now we have all these tools and the technology. And of course, also like potential clients who are open to learn online or to work with people online. So, I'm sure you're going to be able to work with so many amazing people in the future, helping them, people from all over the world.
Yes, I look forward to it.
Yes.
I'm very mission driven. So I'm like, if I'm not impacting, I'm a little lost in the world. So.
Oh, okay. I was actually once an exchange student in Ohio. Random side note, very random side note. I was in Monroeville, Ohio, in the middle of nowhere, it was just like in between, like Sandusky was pretty close, I think, but everything else was like really far away.
Yeah, my husband's family grew up in the Sandusky area, so small world.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
Well, that was amazing. Do you have anything else that you would like to share that I should have asked you?
Honestly, coming from like a health and fitness background, entrepreneurship is hard. And doing self-care every single day is essential. And I don't care if it's drinking enough water, maybe you do a couple squats in between coaching clients, you're standing at a stand-up desk, finding creative ways to move throughout the day and nourish your mind and body are how you're going to impact through your business. It's how you're going to have the energy to serve. So even as a health and fitness practitioner, I lost sight of that a little bit. And my husband, thankfully, was by my side to say, this is not okay. You can't work, 70-hour weeks and burn yourself out. So yes, we want results. Yes, we want to impact. Yes, we want this amazing business, but first and foremost, take some time for self-care.
I love that.
Yeah, if you're struggling, plan it out. Yeah. So, yeah.
And especially important also for yoga teachers. It's so easy to kind of like forget about your self-practice. Yeah. Fill your own cup first, right?
Yeah, even if it's just a couple, minutes, or maybe you're like standing in, pigeon or standing tree while you're coaching people, virtually.
Before you get lost in that entrepreneurship online business rabbit hole. Yes. I think we all know that feeling. Mm-hmm. Where you're just like, and there's so much to learn. There's always like new things to explore. And then you want to do this. And oh my God, she's doing that. Maybe I should do that.
Oh yeah. It's insane. Yeah. So you got to put the blinders on and focus on what works best for you.
I did that. Yeah. I was actually unfollowing people on social media just because it was too distracting for me. It was like, no, no, I don't do that. I don't look at that. I just like going to follow what I have on my to-do list for that month. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I say it's a social media bubble and you want to make yours beautiful and inspiring and well. And if you start to see things that drain your self-confidence or make you second guess yourself, it's time to unfollow and make that, when you scroll, it should be a beautiful bubble.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So where can people go to learn more about you?
Sure. You can check out breakingthroughwellness.com. That is where I have my one-on-one coaching services, as well as my program for women runners. Again, I'm talking to general, everyday, busy, career-driven women who are trying to balance their love of running and their health along the way. So we want healthy hormones, we want vibrant energy and good health, and then we can feel and run our best.
I love that. So I'm going to add the links to the show notes as well. So thank you for being here, Louise. It was so amazing. Thanks for sharing your experience and your background. I think it was really, really inspiring conversation.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Blissful Biz podcast. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes. This would mean the world to me. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast to never miss a new episode. To learn more about how to work with me one-on-one, my courses and membership, or to get instant access to freebies, workshops, and more, go to susannereiker.com right now. Thanks for tuning in and see you next time.